Wow, wow, wow. This is overwhelming. It truly is. I'm having a lot of fun tonight for a myriad of reasons. Uh, on the ride down, so I married this girl from the north side. She drags me to the north side 51 and a half years ago. And we live on the north side, and when I come down to the south side with her, I'm always pointing out the landmarks. Like, if dinner isn't very good tonight, we're going to the White Castle at 127th and Western. And, but I truly am very proud to be an alum of Marist High School. I don't know how that guy that you just saw became who he's become without Marist High School. I talk about forks in the road in my life. I grew up on the south side, 121st and Laughlin. It was the last ward of the city. It was called Mudville because the ninth ward was the last ward to get city streets, and so it was always potholes and dirt roads. And it was just one of the, it was a neighborhood of police officers and firemen and small-time politicians. I handed out campaign literature for JFK when I was a kid because of my mom. And no one that actually none of the young men that I grew up with went to college. And going to Marist was something that my mom pushed because it was this brand new Catholic school. And I've had 19 years of Catholic school in my life. Grammar school, high school, college, and law school. And it was very important to me to continue that tradition in my own family and my daughters who are here tonight, and I'll get to them in a moment. But the whole notion of coming from Marist and being part of Marist has really inspired me to be someone who's trying to achieve and do good deeds. When I was told I was getting this award, they asked me to talk about experiences that at Marist that mattered to me. And the truth is, it wasn't experiences, it was the people that mattered to me and made a difference in my life in those forks in the road. My dad was a carpenter. My mom was a housewife. No one had gone to college. College really wasn't a certainty. And one day, I'm in the hallway at Marist, and a big guy named Al Brazen comes up to me and says, "Hey, where are you going to college?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, you look like a DePaul man. Go into my office and get the application, and you're gonna go to DePaul." And that's because he knew that I had to work to help pay for tuition. I worked in the lumberyard, Courtesy Home Center, and left school every day to go to the lumberyard. I filled out the application. I filled out one application for college. That was the only one, and it was because that's what Al Brazen told me to do. So what about that fork in the road? What if I had not had that conversation with Al Brazen that day? Where would I have been? Because my dad was telling me, my dad was a good man, did the best he could. He was telling me that being in the trades was a good thing, and to this day I believe being in the trades is a good thing. But my mom had heard of this school, Marist, because otherwise I was going to go to Fenger, or I was going to go to Mendel. But because of my mom, I went to Marist High School, and I met Al Brazen, and that made a big difference in my life. And then there was this guy named Garvey, and he said, "Kid, don't try out for baseball, because you're really not going to make it. You might be better at the verbal skills and get into the debate team." So that's another fork in my road. But then, as time went on, and because of DePaul, I met my wife. And I met my wife because one day I became, with those verbal skills, president of the fraternity. And I went to a mixer, and I made the faux pas of bringing a date to the mixer. You're not supposed to bring a date to the mixer if you're the president of the fraternity and you're going to meet the president of the sorority. So I sent the date home with a pledge, and I took Joan home, And I never dated anyone other than Joan after that, and we will be married 52 years this coming summer. And I'd like to, so in terms of that fork in the road, were it not for my wife, Joan Clifford, who's here tonight with our daughters, Erin and Tracy, life would not be the same for me. And that's a fork in the road that was started by Al Brazen. Another fork in the road that was started was that, you know, I wasn't the greatest student at Marist because I worked and I didn't, you know, always study at night. And I had this geometry and advanced mathematics, and there was this guy, professor, we call him professor, teacher Musil Shahad. And I would take his classes and I would take his tests and I would flunk all his tests, and he came up to me and he said, there is something definitely wrong with you. You're not studying, you're a smart guy. And he would spend time with me. And he's the classic guy that if you saw in a commercial what teachers have made a difference in someone's life, he made a difference in someone's life. He made a difference in my life. He convinced me that if I applied myself, I could go on and do better things. And because of him, he made me stay. He said, you can't go to work this week. You got to meet with me every day after school. And then he even took me to his home in Blue Island and spent more time with me there. And then the next week were classes and tests, and I took every one of those tests, and I scored perfect scores on those tests, and I think he was happier about it than I was. But then, you know, but there were other people at Marist that made a difference. I'm delighted that the brothers are here tonight. There was a brother, Gerard, and he was the French teacher. And I was dismal in French. So much so that I had to beg him for a D to graduate from high school because I was flunking. And he said, you know, look, this is a learnable thing. And I said, well, you know, you have to help me out. And he spent extra time with me, and he made a difference in my life. And that difference manifested itself about 3 months ago. So because of the work that I do, I've been traveling a lot around the world, and I was in London, and I had been taking some depositions, and I was lucky to be staying at a place called the Peninsula Hotel, which right now is maybe the most technologically advanced hotel around, because all the systems, the lights, the telephone, everything is electronic. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, everything goes on. All the lights are on, it's blaring, the sounds. And because I stay at that hotel frequently, I have the phone number for the front desk on my phone. And I'm thinking, well, I'm a clever fellow. The phone doesn't work. I can't get a hold of the front desk to tell them about the lights. And so I hit the button to call. I figure I'm going to call the front desk myself. I'll go outside the system. Well, I hit the wrong button, and I called Paris. And so the guy answers, and he's talking in French, and I started yelling at him in my broken French, which is what I learned from Brother Gerard. And I said, I'm in room 610. And he said, well, monsieur, we don't have a room 610 here. I realize I'm in the wrong place. I'm calling Paris as opposed to London. I hang up. They call me back, and they say, are you Mr. Clifford? And I said, yes. And they said, well, you're in London, and we'll call the front desk, tell them the lights are on. And that's what happened to me. True story. And all because of Brother Gerard, that I had that broken French that I could use as part of my way of navigating life, and that's because of Marist High School. But most importantly, in many ways, is the Catholic education that I embrace. As I said, I've had 19 years of Catholic school. It makes a difference to me in my life. It makes a difference to me and my family. And we really deeply believe that this will make a difference in the future and the continuation of Catholic education. So for us tonight in the Clifford family, in order to try to perpetuate and continue that, we're doing two things. The first is, I met with Tom Hurley and talked to him about this. The Clifford family tonight will be donating $1 million to the scholarship fund You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you for that. You know, you guys might appreciate this. So this morning I woke up and I talked to Joan and I said, you know, I'm going to be making this announcement tonight about the $1,000,000. And I said, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that, first off, I would be receiving the Distinguished Alumni Award at Marist, or that we would be giving away $1,000,000? And she said, look, I have to tell you, after 51 years, you're not in my wildest dreams. I've told that joke before, and she absolutely hates it. So, but there's a part two to this announcement, and that is this: as Larry said in his remarks, that tonight is the biggest fundraiser for the school every year. So the money that we will be giving will be given to Marist by the end of the year. But I have a challenge for each and every one of you. If tonight is the biggest fundraiser for Marist during the year, then my challenge and the Clifford family challenge to all of us is that we will, for our 2025 donation, we will match every dollar raised tonight. So dig deep, dig often, put the money out there, make it matter, because this school deserves the support, and it will continue to receive it from all of you. Thank you very much.